heaven, this is so sad. Birds were chirping beyond the window. I need to wake myself up. I got up and looked around the room. Vivid images of what happened yesterday flowed into my mind. Just thinking about it was making me blush. I placed my hand on my chest in hopes that my heart would calm down. My feelings, I've known all this time. What about Nikolai? What did he mean by what he said? Why did he touch me? I want him to let me know. I don't want to be kept in suspense. He seemed to be busy since that night. I hadn't had a chance to see him since. If I see him today, I'll try and get this cleared once and for all. With a resolve of heart, I finally stepped out of bed. I greeted the room while opening the door. The lounge was amazingly quiet. I stopped myself at the entrance, bewildered by the stillness in the air. What's going on here? The members were all directing their focus towards the middle of the lounge. I understand what you're saying, Oliver, but I don't have an answer with me that would satisfy you. Which means you're admitting that it's fact. Nikolai and Oliver? They weren't yelling, but they both had stern looks on their faces. You seek results, not the truth, right? That's right, and the state that we're in isn't good for the family. Then I'll change the state we're in. I just need some time to do that. I hope you have the grace to spare me time. Fine. Nikolai looked away from Oliver and was heading towards me. Is there a problem, Nikolai? I saw you speaking with Oliver and... He pushed me away with... Oh, whoa! Just before he left, he leaned his face close to my ear and mumbled, I don't want to worsen your position. Let's keep our distance for now. And with that, Nikolai exited the lounge. I hesitantly stepped into the lounge. Oliver, what just happened? Look. Oliver showed me the article in the newspaper. Not to have his own assassination attempt. Wait. My voice trembled. The article says that Nikolai attacked Dante and killed the officer on duty there. The officer's name was Marco. Who was killed? Seeing his name made my heart sink. Nikolai killed Marco? I don't believe it. I mumbled in a daze, staring at the article. Oliver nodded briefly, then gave a deep sigh. You know, we don't believe that what's written in the paper is always correct. But a whole article can't be fabricated from nothing. Someone must have attacked Dante Falzone and made off after killing the cop. That we know is real, but Nikolai wouldn't do that. Yeah, but the Balbone police just made it official that Nikolai is the culprit. It can't be, that can't be right. The cops wouldn't make such an announcement without any evidence. They need as much proof when going up against us. I mean, the one guy who would do it's kinda cuckoo! I have no idea what is going on between Nikolai and the Falzone, but Nikolai is a member of the Visconti now. He can't go off doing things like this. Maybe it was Nikolai's plan all along to cause problems under the Visconti name. I mean, he did betray his family once already. The rumors may actually be true. Rumors? Stop with the assumptions. Nikolai is a member of the family. But Oliver, be careful what you say. Think who invited Nikolai to join. Are you trying to insult Gilbert? Oliver's question brought silence amongst the men in the lounge. I kept thinking about the article and the situation in the lounge. Something far beyond me is happening. That was all I knew for now. Some time passed. I couldn't get my thoughts straight with what happened. Some reached out to me with concern, but I couldn't grasp what they were saying to me. I figured there was no use for me to be in the lounge, so I saw myself out when... I need my baby boy! Aurracle turned to me upon hearing me call out to his name. Is there something you need? I just wanted to speak with you for a moment. Here, come to my room. It's this way. I tugged on his arm for him to follow me. Aurracle followed without saying a word. I read the morning paper, and it said that Nicola had killed Officer Marco. Do you know anything about this incident by chance? No. Really? You're an informant, right? I figured you know much more than me, since I'm locked here inside the manor. This is Portfolio, Faded Memories. It's a virtual novel, an otome game, a romance virtual novel. And it's a town that's basically run by the mafia. Well, it looked away from me inside. Informant makes his living by stealing information. We are merely acquainted. I can't give you free information. So how much does it cost? I have some money back at the church in my room. If it isn't enough, I'll find a way to cover it. Please? Fine, but I don't need your money. Huh? I actually like Nikolai. I also think keeping you in the know would be for the best, so you don't have to buy anything from me. Oh, he's so sweet! Thank you. I gave him a great smile hearing his words. Aurracle looked at me, and for a second I thought I saw the faintest trace of a smile. That's such a cute smile. Oh my gosh! It's true that Berlin officer was killed. His name was Marco. I still couldn't believe he was killed, even after hearing Aurracle confirm his name. May I continue? Yes. I felt a sharp pain in my heart, but I nodded to let him continue. Before Marco passed away, he said that he was shot by Nikolai. It can't be. Marco was highly respected, even by the citizens, so the police took action right away. They're moving to arrest him, even if he is mafia. Worse is the rumor going around, huh? I recalled something about the rumor earlier. Rumors can quickly turn into facts. The mafia can only exist because of the respect and fear of the citizens. That also means any who lose that respect or fear would be taken out of society. I could see what he's saying, especially considering Barlone's background. I clenched my fists and mustered the strength to ask Aurracle, what is the rumor about? Nikolai failed to kill Dante, at least that's what everyone thinks. You know about the killings involving the Barlone's mafia, don't you? Rumor has it that Nikolai is behind the killings. That can't be possible. I know that can't be possible, but the citizens beg to differ. Smoke can rise without a fire. Even if it is a baseless accusation, if it's believable enough, people will begin thinking that it is actually true. This is true! That's horrible. Then again, I understand what he meant. Various people came to the church. Rumors also followed them. Sometimes baseless rumors would spread like wildfire as it were truth. Isn't there anything that can be done? The underboss Nikolai betrayed his family. That is very serious, beyond anyone's comprehension. At that point, he lost the respect of the people. Nikolai betrayed them because he wasn't satisfied with Dante at the top. Nikolai was planning to kill Dante so he could become the Falcon's boss. He stayed next to Dante so that he could find the right time to kill him. Rumors like these were being whispered. But why did Nikolai betray the Falcon family? I don't know the answer to that, which is why I couldn't refute what he was saying. But something isn't right. If he really wanted to become the boss, he wouldn't have betrayed the family. Even if Dante were killed, there's no way he'd be welcomed back to the Falzone, especially after his betrayal. And, do you know about the rumor that the previous Falzone boss was assassinated? Yes, I recall that rumor vividly, and I knew now that the assassination was indeed fact. That rumor is spreading again. Why would it... I stopped mid-sentence and thought, wait, don't tell me that people are saying that Nikolai killed the previous boss. Rumors has it that he was planning to take over the Falzone family all along. Oh wow, this is drama-filled. How dare they? That's about all I know. Now, if you'll excuse me. With that, Aurracle turned his back to me and headed to the door. I had no words to say to hold him back. I continued thinking alone in my room. I remember that very night, young Nikolai wasn't here when it happened. Nikolai wasn't at the manor that night, the night the previous boss was assassinated. That's what Nicola said, but when Dante's father passed away, Dante was the first to embrace his body in tears. Nikolai worded it in a way that sounded like he saw what happened that night. Ba ba bum bum bum. This is all I could do for her. I could only hope that the accusations would disappear. I really shouldn't take sides. Hey, informant! I stopped in my tracks and slowly turned around. I sensed his presence, but I didn't expect him to stop me. I have some work for you. You got time? work? People seem to want to talk to me today. Nikolai worded it in a way that sounded like he saw what happened that night. Forgot I would be able to do the other one. I have something to report. I'm assuming it's about the rumors. Yes, it seems as if some here are seeking to bring him back into the family. They've said that Nikolai is more befitting to be boss of this family. He is talented, I'll give him that. He certainly kept the soldiers in line, which would also explain why many still have respect for him even after his departure. Indeed, boss. And some say we should have punished him as a traitor. Some have even begun saying so openly, stating that your decision was wrong. I see. Things aren't looking good. In order to show that we aren't to be trifled with, may I suggest we deliver due punishment to Nikolai? The time to decide was drawing near. Oh man. I feel bad for him. I finally understood why I felt something was odd about that line back then. A new day arrived. I went to the lounge first thing in the morning, but Nikolai was nowhere to be found. Did he step out already? It was obvious that he'd avoid the crowd. Still, I hope I would be able to see him. My shoulders dropped with disappointment. Aw, she misses her boyfriend. Kitty, do you have some time? Bertrand Gill, is there a problem? I just thought you wanted to check out how things are at the church. I'm planning to offer my prayers later today. Do you want to come? My eyes widened at Gil's invitation. I had completely forgotten about my home with the things happening around me. Yes, please. Thank you, Gil. I gave a bright smile and Gil smiled back at me. Oh, but is it okay for me to go outside? We made a decision back at the meeting. We decided everyone would leave you alone, so things should be safe now. I see. I breathed a sigh of relief. I could finally go to church and see Sister Sophia and everyone else there. Just thinking about it lifted my spirits. Yay! Hey, Rain Ralph, thank you for subbing at Tier 1 again! How are you? I'll give you a shout out. Hold on. Oh, it's okay. It feels like it's been forever. Simply knowing that I was standing here made my heart swell with joy. I'm heading inside the church. You want to see Sister Sophia, right? Yes, I think she may be in the rectory now. Guard her. Leave it to me. I bet you Roberto's gonna try some dumb shit like kidnapping me. Gil ordered one of his men to follow me. Thank you, Gil. I'll see you later. I gave my sincere thanks and headed to the tree. Like, honestly, like, I could see him doing something like that. I do hope in other routes he's not so cuckoo. Sister Sophia! I ran as quickly as I could toward her. Sophia embraced me firmly within her arms. I'm so happy. Being able to feel her warmth like this is so comforting. I've been worried sick about you. How are you feeling now? I heard that you left the Falzone's family manor. Were you alright? Yes, I'm fine. The Visconti family is taking great care of me, but Gil only brought me here for today while he's visiting, so I need to go back. I see. I might not be able to come again for a while, but please don't worry about me. Sophia had a worried look on her face, but she nodded, hearing my words. Understood. May God watch over you. Thank you, Sister Sophia. Sophia told me about all sorts of things during the little time I had with her. That Elena was almost finished with her rehabilitation, that the Falzon family was still keeping watch of the area, and that, as Aurracle said, the people in town were speaking ill of Nikolai and treating him like some kind of evil. Poor Nikolai. Misunderstood little bird. I bid farewell to Sister Sophia and waited for Gil outside the church with my bodyguard. Wait, Katybug. Roberto. The The last I saw him, he was back when he had the meeting at the casino. I kept my guard up as I turned toward him. What do you need from her? I'm a police officer. What I do is none of your mafia's business. Move aside. He glanced at me. It'll be okay. I responded with a nod. Those two getting in an argument would only make matters worse for the Visconti. I heard about Marco. My condolences. Yes, and I will arrest Francisco so that Marco's death is not in vain. Katie, I'm here to take you into our protection. The Visconti are criminals. You're only endangering yourself by being with them. I responded to Roberto. I'll say with... Oh no. I don't like this. Well, I'm quite fine. I'm going to stay with Nikolai. I bluntly refused Roberto's offer. I want to be with Nikolai. After all this time, I finally understood why I wanted to be with him. Oh, it's for the way you look at him. I was in love. That man, Nikolai, tried to kill Dante, the very person he served all this time. You do know that he will kill you the moment you're of no further value to him, right? Roberto's words weren't swaying me. I felt surprisingly calm and serene inside. You're wrong. Nikolai wasn't the perpetrator. And how can you say that? Nikolai still cares about Dante immensely to this day. Someone else tried to kill Dante. You've tainted yourself, haven't you? Roberto looked down at me with cold eyes. I felt a shiver run down my spine. What are you doing? Suddenly, Gil's stern voice cut through the air. He stepped in between us to block Roberto's advancement. Sorry for the wait. Let's get going. It's almost dinner. Yes. Gil beckoned me to follow him. I sensed something and turned around. Roberto stood there in silence. He wasn't trying to stop us, but he was glaring at us with the same hatred-filled eyes from that night. Oh, man. Oh, no. It was almost dinner time at the Visconti. Someone's gonna die if or both of us are gonna die if I didn't get all the right answers, or enough of the good answers. I was surprised to see Nikolai ready for dinner. Nikolai shook his head slightly to let me know not to talk to him. Now wouldn't it be a good time to talk? The men around us were whispering amongst themselves. It must be about the rumors from the article. Nikolai looks unbothered, but that doesn't mean he isn't suffering. I mean, he didn't do it, so... An awkward dinner came and went. Nikolai. With dinner over, I ran out of the lunch to chase him. He opened his mouth to speak, but I began to speak first. I want to discuss something with you. It's about Roberto. He closed his mouth and thought for a moment, then nodded in reply. Fine, let's talk in your room. Thank you. I smiled, hearing his voice again. I really did need to speak with him about Roberto, but I wasn't overjoyed to have any. But I was overjoyed to have any reason to speak to him at all. Girls got it bad. Nikolai nodded after hearing my story about what happened back at the church. This is just my opinion, but he seems very interested in you. A special kind of attachment of sort. Special? Do you remember how he was in a daze after trying to shoot me? It was because you shielded me. But wasn't that just shock because he was close to killing a civilian? I believe he reacted more to the fact that you tried to protect another man. I suppose that could be possible, but... I'm sorry, I must have been daydreaming. Be careful next time. I don't think he really likes me at all. I probably see it differently because I'm also... He suddenly stopped mid-sentence. Tell her you love her! A short moment of silence fell over us, but I mustered the courage to speak. Nikolai, it seems like there are rumors going around town. Something about you killing Marco. They're also saying that you're trying to become the next boss by killing Dante. He stared at me with a concerned expression. I looked back at him. I don't think he's doing it. Nicola, Nicola, you didn't kill anyone. Why aren't you denying the allegations? I told him matter-of-factly that he didn't kill anyone. My unshakable conviction must be why he looked so surprised. I knew it! His expression confirmed any disbelief. Nikolai didn't kill Marco. How are you so sure? Well, I called myself before continuing. I know you're not telling me everything, Nikolai, but you're not the type of person to have killed Dante's father. You also wouldn't kill Dante to become boss, so there's no way you would have killed Marco. That's all based on your emotions. No, it's the conclusion I came to based on everything I've observed until now. I didn't come to that conclusion from blind trust. Let me answer your question as to why I'm not denying the allegations. Yes, please do. If I prove my innocence by revealing my alibi to the public, things may change. But that would also expose things that should be kept hidden. It could unearth something that someone might be trying to keep secret. Trying to keep secret? I took his hand hesitantly. Nikolai swallowed his breath in surprise as I kept my eyes on him. Nikolai, you were at the manor when the previous boss was killed that night, right? But you spoke about it as if you saw what happened. What you said has bothered me all this time. Where were you that day, really? Fine, I'll talk about what happened that night. But because of the nature of it, I'll need to ask you to keep it secret. Yes, I promise. He then closed his eyes, recalling the past as he slowly began to speak. Oh, juicy detail! That night, I heard strange sounds coming from the boss's office, so I went to investigate. Things were over when I got there. Dante was crying over his father's body. Dante? The only other time I've seen him cry was when his mother passed away. Seeing him cry as an adult was so painful to witness. I never liked Dante's father. I always thought he was too strict on Dante. I even felt like he cared more about me than his own child. At least on the surface. Once you get older, you start seeing things. He loved Dante, which is why he was always strict on him. I can see that. A pampered son will only end up despised in the future. Indeed. So I still feel he could have handled things a lot better. Sure, he needed to be a strict boss, but if Dante ended up hating him, things could go south very quickly. But Dante must have understood all along. When I saw Dante crying, I felt like I could finally see him for the first time. Nikolai. What I saw back there was the same as what I saw back when his mother died. Dante doesn't want to let anyone, even me, see him break down. But I didn't have it in me to pretend like I didn't see what had happened. Which is odd, since I've always boasted about being a great liar. So that night, I decided to leave the manor to get my head together. I was planning on calming myself, then handling the situation as I normally do. But I guess I was the only one who thought I was masking my feelings well. Come to think of it, Gulia mentioned that you were making a lot of mistakes back then. It seems like I can't keep my cool when it comes to things involving Dante. For you, he's like... Nikolai nodded and continued. He's important, not just because he's a boss. It's also because he's my one and only brother. I can keep up a front when I'm playing the role of underboss, but the moment I let my guard down, it's almost impossible to bring it back up again. Nikolai's explanation made it very clear what happened that day Dante's father died. But, Nikolai? If you care so much about Dante, why did you betray the family? I blatantly asked the most important question. He smiled weirdly, like before, but this time didn't reprimand me for asking. I was actually planning on betraying the family for quite some time. Huh? Really? But I thought you cared about the family. I won't deny that, but the family is old-fashioned and shackled to the ancient rules and traditions. Especially Dante. Their rules and traditions probably burdened Dante the most. I wanted to end everything for the sake of the family. The Falzone and the Visconti were originally a single organization, but there's a major difference between the two. You know that what it is, right? Everyone in Berlin knows the Visconti separated themselves from the Falzone family. The Falzone kept only those within their bloodline. All of its members are Italian. The Visconti is the complete opposite. They recruit people on talent and skill. Right, and what shackles Dante is his very blood, his Falzone blood. Hearing his words felt like all the pieces were falling into place. Nikolai, you still see Dante as someone very precious to you, don't you? You betrayed Dante not because you hated him or because you wanted to be boss. He smiled with a hint of grief and replied to my murmuring, yes, I just wanted to release Dante from what's holding him down. He's going to disband the Falzone family. I'm going to disband the Falzone family, dethrone Dante as boss, and exile him from Berlin. He's free the moment he leaves this town. He can live a life free from the shackles of his blood. And that's why you betrayed the Falzone family? You turned on Dante and the family, knowing you would be marked as a traitor. Nicola gave a weak smile as if to affirm what I had just said was true. Wasn't there another option? This is way too risky, and This is the only option. Nikolai stated it blatantly while keeping that weak smile on his face. I thought about different options, but what holds Dante down won't go away unless the family falls. What about Dante? Does he know this? Does he know why you betrayed him? Not at all. If I told him my plans, he'd try to stop me with all his might. But his calm answers were stinging my heart. Is this what Dante really wants? I can't imagine Dante wanting to be free if that meant sacrificing you. That was simply impossible. Corky! Hi! There's nobody at home yet, right? You, just got off of work. Guys, go following my amazing twin, Corky Bag! Ah, that makes sense. Nikolai placed a finger on my lips to stop me from continuing. His smile grew sad. This is a really sad part of the story. There are multiple sad endings. I'm hoping to get the good one. Katie, I think we've spoken enough. There are some things you won't know that I will. I don't need anyone to understand me. Nikolai has been thinking about this for years. He chose this path with resolve in order to set Dante free. And yet here I was trying to tear up all over that. I'm sorry. And thank you for sharing. I feel better knowing what was on your mind. I believed in Nikolai all along, but hearing him explain his reasons made the tension shrouding me melt away. I've never shared this with anyone before. Nikolai sighed tiredly. He then gently yet firmly held my hand in turn. I've kept my mission and my feelings hidden inside me all this time. Nikolai? He looked into my flustered eyes and continued to speak. When I first met you, I thought you were a girl living in her fantasy world. But I suppose I wasn't wrong. He smiled at me, then squinted as if trying to relive the past. You were looking at reality in your own way and using your mind to its fullest. You have the kindness to believe in others and the courage to choose your path. I chose my path, but I hadn't been able to put it into words yet. I hadn't told him what I wanted to share. Nikolai? I love you. I could hear Nikolai holding his breath. I'm happy when you're kind to me, and I'm sad when you treat me coldly. I'm not even sure when my feelings came to be, but before I knew it, my feelings were as clear as day. There isn't a single day that goes by that I'm not thinking of you. Everything I feel depends on whether you're with me or not. Okay, that's not healthy. Your feelings shouldn't depend on if you're with your significant other or not. But it's an Otome game, so I guess it's, yeah. I would even jump in front of a bullet for you. I would jump in front of jump in front of a train for you. Da 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 da. Throw my hand on a blade. Whatever that Bruno Mars song is. Even though you did scold me for that. Nikolai carefully chose his words and responded, Everyone thinks I'm a murderer now. Being with me will only bring you problems. Because of that, I can't share words of love to you. Not in my current state. I'm sorry. Nikolai seemed to be in pain. But as if he needed to share something important, he whispered in my ear, But I don't want to lose you. Nikolai. Just ask her to wait for you, dude. That was all I needed to hear. His words filled my heart to the point where it felt like it would burst. I feel like tears are going to spill out. My fingers were swelling with heat. I looked into his transparent eyes and asked him something that was on my mind. Why did you kiss me that night, Nikolai? Do I have to say it? It's not like I can read your mind. You were worried and angry about me then, and then you suddenly... Thinking back at what happened is making me blush, especially with how close his face is to me. Because I wanted to. I can't believe you're saying that. Oh, I'm sorry. I finally noticed what I just said. I was so embarrassed by how wrong that came out. But you're right. Huh? I wanted to touch you. I was scared that I was so close to losing you. Nikolai, you're a normal girl. We live in different worlds. Even if you did have feelings for me, I decided not to acknowledge them. But I couldn't hold myself back that night. He didn't look away from me and continued in his soft, mellow voice. I've worked my entire life to support Dante and the family. I had no idea. I had no time to have anything precious while protecting them all, and I didn't want anything precious either. I thought I could be as ruthless as possible for the family. But your very existence kept growing inside of me, day after day. Maybe more than anything else. His beautiful eyes quivered slightly. After he frowned and spoke in a way that seemed ashamed, Dante doesn't trust me anymore. That's not... I wanted to say that wasn't true, but I can't say that. I don't know Dante's true feelings. Isn't there something I can say to help? I mean, probably. There's probably something you could say to help. Oh, hey look, a side story. I didn't want to borrow your dirty hands, but the results were more than I expected. Francisco's name has been marred, and the people of Borlorn have turned on him. I told you killing him wouldn't have sufficed. Yes, but why did you help me? There's nothing for you to gain here. Oh, but there is. Nikolai's betrayal must have been motivated by a particular agenda. The Falzone family is still letting that traitor Nikolai run free. If they are simply going easy on him, it's of no grave importance, but if not, it could end up being problematic. Their joining forces would only prove to be bothersome. Regardless of whether or not Nikolai's betrayal was planned, I'm sure his true motives aren't shared with lowly soldiers. If so, they may need one of their own creation. If the assassination attempt succeeded, I would have thanked my good fortune, but it looks like the results are as expected. Are you mocking me? Not at all. The results were just fine. If Nikolai was acting as a lantern to the Falzones, their trust should have taken a hit. After all, everyone would think that Nikolai truly betrayed their family. The Falzone family did their best to hide the divided factions that existed beneath the surface, but now that should come to light, those in support of the Falzone will pit their hatred against Nikolai, which means they will also clash with those who were in support of Nikolai. It will be a blessing to see the Falzone be ripped apart. They held intellect power among the police force. As criminals, they are a stain on the face of Borlorn. I see. Madness is quite beautiful. This man burned with a fire of hatred for evil, a deep hatred and attachment to Nikolai. How delightful! If there's any evil to be rid of, it should be the leader of the Lao Shu. How amusing to see him borrow my power in his attempt to bring justice to the town. What are you laughing about? Nothing at all. I'm simply impressed by your sense of justice against criminals. After all, the mass killings that have cut down the presence of Borlorn Mafia were carried out by a man with a brazenly bold soul. All the Mafia are criminals, scum that don't belong to society. They needed to be removed by my hands. Purging in the name of justice. He was still staring straight at me as if he was prepared to draw a gun on me. Not bad, I can sense the madness. He'll kill me the moment I lose value to him. Well, keep up the good work, and pin those killings on Nikolai. It will mean the death of his honor among the Mafia, and he shall perish alongside the rest of the scum of the earth. Might I add that I don't want to see my dear partner arrested as the culprit? We'll assist you in any way we can. The Lao Shu is only a branch of the Lao, and our mission is simply to make money. We have no interest in taking over this land. We'll be more than happy to leave once the Falzone and Visconti are eliminated. I doubt I'll remember what I said here. Consider yourself lucky that I still have a use for you. Oh, so he did all the killings? And with that, I disappeared into the alley. Use? Good luck with that. I hope he enjoys playing the role of pawn in my game. Oh, Yang is so messed up. He chose a path of shame and disgrace for Dante and the family. That must be beyond executioning to someone with high expectations of honor. I squeezed Nicolai's hand firmly as I tried thinking of something that could be done. Ba-ba-da-bum-bum, ba-bum-bum. Was I asleep? I thought I was talking to Nicolai. Maybe I fell asleep after we talked about everything that was causing me anxiety. I looked at the clock in my room. I can say that when I've had really bad anxiety days or like my thoughts won't shut off, sleeping is so much harder. Not much time has passed. Then where's Nicolai? By the time I found Nicolai, he was looking outside the window in the hallway. I couldn't leave someone alone who had such a sad expression on his face. You should go hug him. Yeah, you're awake. You're awake. I'm sorry. I think you were tired. I'm glad to know you were able to sleep. Nicolai gently brushed a strand of hair away from my cheek. My heart raced, just realizing how much closer we were now. Nicolai looked at me and smiled, but I couldn't shake off the sad expression I just saw. Nicolai, how about talking to the others about, to explain that you didn't do any of it, that the rumors were lies? I appreciate the suggestion, but I have no intention of sharing the truth with anyone besides you. What needs to be kept secret can be kept secret. You don't have to explain everything. But at the very least, you can deny the rumors. So, you're suggesting that I deny everything about showing it without showing any proof. Yes, I'm sure the people here are just confused about whether to trust you or not. If you don't say anything, they will only assume the worst. You came to the Vice County because you trusted Gil, right? If so, then maybe you can put a bit more trust in him. Well, I'm sure Gilbert isn't the type to believe rumors at face value, but why don't we try? If it doesn't work, we can think of something else then. Nicolai shrugged and laughed. Unbelievable. You really are hot-headed. Nothing I say can deter you. You're right about that. Well, it is a bit late now, so what about tomorrow at breakfast? Not that breakfast would be the best time either. He's a pretty busy person. But Gilbert might still be awake now. Huh? He often drinks at the lounge at night. Let's see if he's there then. I figured you'd say that. You're the one who put it in her ear by telling her that, he's still alive. I mean, awake, potentially. I mean, clearly he's still alive. Thank you. I slowly took a hold of his hand. We then headed straight to the lounge. What, planning to elope or something? Gil squinted, seeing us enter the lounge. He was swirling an amber-colored drink in his glass. We have to talk, Gilbert. Finally. Gil spread some documents over the table. I know what you two are thinking. I've been sloughing my side too. In fact, I got a report just a moment ago. A shadow appeared next to Gil. Aurracle, why are you? I was surprised to see an unexpected guest. I could see Nicola in surprise as well. Aurracle looked at us, then silently nodded. Looks like you were arguing with Oliver. He was just concerned in his own way. He wasn't suspecting you. The question escaped me before I realized it. Our big guys were in the middle of a meeting when Dante was targeted. Oliver and Nicolai were with each other. So all of my guys are well aware that Nicolai is being framed. Come to think of it. We don't believe that what's written in the paper is always correct. But a whole article can't be fabricated from nothing. Someone must have attacked Dante Falzone and made off after killing the cop. That we know is real. Oliver didn't say that Nicolai was the culprit. If anything, he was trying to calm the others. There's a reason why he didn't go into detail there. If they find out that Nicolai was part of the meeting, some of them are going to start complaining about why a traitor has a seat among our top brass. We're mafia through and through. Many do view betrayals as a cardinal sin. I've been letting things slide, but if things took a turn for the worse, I'd intervene. Gil then spoke in a serious tone. Nicolai didn't do anything. I know that for a fact. Which is why I had the whole thing investigated. Something ain't right. Gil. Nicolai picked up the report on the table and began flipping through its pages. Curious, I decided to peek over his shoulder. I think he's too tall for that. You'd have to peek under his armpit. Someone at the station is working with Yang. It's reported that Marco revealed the name of his attacker before he died, but only one other heard it. That person has often been seen going to the Atlantic district recently. In other words, he's behind all this mess. That's horrible. The police are wrapping up Dante's attack as part of the Mafia's killing. Strange, ain't it? If the Falzone's boss was targeted, wouldn't we or the Lashu be in the prime suspect? Instead, Dante's assailant is suddenly being conflated with the serial killer. Without knowing it, the police's opinion is being manipulated by that officer. It can't be, so who is this person? Roberto. Yep. Bum, 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 bum. Nicola looked up from the report upon hearing his name and muttered in a low voice. I was at a loss for words. Roberto? He's the one behind the killings of our men. He killed Marco, and now he's trying to kill Dante. But why? Why indeed? No one knows, and to be honest, I don't care. Nicola is a member of the Visconti. Tarnishing Nicola's name is tarnishing the Visconti name, and I'm not letting that go. Gil's words were strong and clear, his eyes resolute. But then his expression clouded somewhat. I'm concerned about what Yang's planning. At the very least, this isn't the time for the Falzones and the Visconti to be fighting. Nikolai looked uneasy hearing Gil's words. He came over to the Visconti to try and put an end to the Falzone's family. Of course, he would be hesitant. I know you have something to say, but are you going to tell me what that is? We're Mafia. Our pride is in keeping our honor and our name prominent. I'll follow your orders, Gilbert. I don't want them to get away with this, either. Nikolai's determined smile seemed to drive away any hesitation in his eyes. Oh no. What shall happen next?